It's your boy Ed coming to you live from Lambworks Studio. It's 100 watts. We are here to have another exclusive and amazing conversation. My name is Ed. I'm here with my boy Hav, and we're about to go into something very interesting. Tonight, we are doing the women's edition of Single, Saved, and Struggling. But before we get into all that, Hav, tell them where to find us, man.
You can check us out. We got a YouTube channel. It's Keep It 100 Watts Live. You got to check us out there. Check out our Facebook page, 100 Watts. Also, we hashtagging tonight, Keep It 100 and hashtag Keep It 100 Watts Live. We'll see you out there.
All right, listen, one of the many things we're going to talk about is not just being single, but also struggling as a single, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's funny because last time we spoke with the guys, like we talked about issues of porn and all that stuff and lust and that struggle. And that struggle is very different from y'all ladies from what I understand. But I got a question. Dogs, my Christian sisters. I know y'all non-Christians don't mind, but my Christian sisters, y'all gonna go watch 50 Shades of Grey? How about you let us know on Facebook if you're gonna go watch 50 Shades of Grey? Because I don't know, I hear that book is a little risque. It's a
little detailed.
Exactly, extreme detail.
My wife was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Just to keep it real.
Yeah.
But it's real detailed, and you know, I want to know how you reacted to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what we got to really look at is how it affects the heart, how it affects the mind. Because the truth is, you guys are reading what we're watching. Only that we just get straight to the point. You guys like the whole story and the romanticism and all that stuff. Exactly. But at the end of the day, we're all lusting, man. So we all need help. So we're going to have a great conversation. We're going to touch on some of these issues of lust. You know, also attire. Like, you know, not for nothing. I know single ladies, you don't necessarily advertise that you're single, but you want to be shown attractive to the dude you're after, right? Yeah. What could complicate things? You know, like a lady who's going after.
You know, with the new style with the tights. Can you wear tights? You know, to church?
Yeah. Are yoga pants allowed in church?
It's a great question. Also, independence. Can your independence hinder you from finding a man? Are you intimidating?
Yeah. Are you like terrifying to be around? You know, I mean, it's a concern, man. Yeah. I mean, not for nothing, not only that, but when you get in a relationship, does that affect you? Like, you're so independent, you don't know how to rely on your man. So listen, we got that and so much more coming on. Please check out the Facebook page. Ask us any questions, bring it on. Any questions you want to see us answer on the next few shows, you know, bring it on. We're going to get emails, tweet, let us know. We're here to have a conversation with you and bring in the dialogue. So stay tuned because we got a whole lot more going on, right?
And we got a website coming too, 100wattslive.com.
That's right.
So we'll keep you posted on that. But we'll see you guys out there.
Stay tuned.
He heard my cry and pitied every groan, and
I think it is one of the tragedies of our nation, one of the shameful tragedies at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. It's one of the most segregated hours, if not the most segregated hours in Christian America. It's one of the most segregated hours, if not the most segregated hours in Christian America.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to 100 Watts. We're gonna get straight into it. I'm gonna introduce you to our awesome guests. We have Luz and Shanice. They're awesome people. They're currently single, pursuing Christ in professional fields, doing their thing, and we just want to have a conversation about some of the struggles they're having.
Thanks for having us.
Great, that's awesome. All right, well, listen, I'm so glad you guys are here. Let me start here. Last episode we had Brandon with us, and he was in a relationship where his fiance literally backed out right before the wedding. Which brought us into a lot of deep questions about what causes you to want to get married and what causes you to kind of fall back. Just some of the things you've learned in your own walk right now. What's it like in terms of dealing with relationships? How do you guys even view it? Are you guys on some it's gonna come? Are you gonna play more the passive role, or are you playing more the I'm out there searching, not necessarily desperate, but I'm searching? How do you guys approach it? What have you guys been thinking about?
Well, I think I'm definitely more aggressive because, keeping it completely 100, like, I feel like everyone wants to be in a relationship. Mm-hmm. You want someone to share things with. So I'm not out there, putting myself out there, but definitely open to it and
right.
Still in a way
yeah.
hopeful.
Right, absolutely. Now, Shanice, let me ask you this. In terms of, like, your view on just relationships in general, like, what has been one thing that has made you be more patient, and what's one thing that's made you say, you know what, I'm kind of, is it just loneliness driving? What do you think? How do you deal with, let me start there. Not that you're like a lonely girl, but when you want to be in a relationship, that's a struggle, loneliness. How have you dealt with that? Like, how have you wrestled with contentment? Let's just say that.
I think the journey has been identity, finding your identity first in Christ and not being dependent on people has really been a big thing. And a lot of times, even in the world, finding comfort in a man was primary, like it was like the number one goal. Mm-hmm. So I think even as a Christian, that's one of the things that we have to be mindful of, am I just wanting a husband or a man in my life so that I can also look to him as everything. And that's God's, that's God's role. That's what he's supposed to be to us. So even as Christians, I think we get that kind of twisted up, but that's how I have found my contentment. And even the waiting process, it doesn't, people put themselves on a timeline. Oh, I waited 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. And I think the problem is that they're still not content with themselves and they're not content with Christ alone. Mm. So in that, there is no timeline because you're secure right. and you trust. So that's how I've dealt.
That's really awesome. We were talking before the show, and we were talking about independent women.
Yeah.
Now for a woman, like you said, who's secure and confident, independence could be like a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm. With you being in the photography field and profession, and you being in the medical field, it can intimidate guys. You know what I mean? If depending on their position and stuff like that. But do you think it can hinder you from finding the guy, or can it ruin a relationship?
Like, how do you guys deal with being independent? Like, you guys are doing it. Like, you just are out there. Have you found that to be a hindrance in finding someone?
For me, I feel like it has. For a long time now, I've been doing things on my own. So for a man to just step in and for me to just let him take that role as a man is hard for me, because if I let him take over and then he backs out, then I feel like I let go of everything I've worked on, everything I worked for. So it's definitely, it can definitely hinder a relationship.
Right, absolutely. Now, I guess, speaking on the whole independent tip too, how do you balance that? Like, a woman has to grow, and she has to pursue, profession and grow, and, single moms have to put in work and do what they have to do, how do you balance the mind change? How do you deal with the mind change? Because when you come into a relationship, it's not that you're like fully falling dependent on the guy and let's say you stop contributing, but the roles change, Is that a fear? Is that something you are concerned about?
I think that there is definitely some type of fear that plays into it, just because, that's a whole lot of change that's going to happen. But then at the same time, there should just be like a freedom at the same time. There should be like a release of like, yes, I don't have to take out the trash because he could take out the trash. Those small things that's what we find joy in, those small things, because we've been independent. We don't need them to do everything. Everything that they are doing should be a compliment to what we are already doing. So we should be a compliment to each other, and that, I think, would help the process.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I think initially there's fear and being vulnerable and opening up every door of your personal life.
Which does lead to another question. Do independent women still want to be led?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting because, I mean, the opposite would be assumed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm independent about my own. I got my own car. I got my own thing. I don't need a man is something that's been said strongly in music and media and culture.
Right.
But explain to us why, in your opinion, an independent woman would want to be led.
Because it's exhausting. It's exhausting to have to do it by yourself, and sometimes you just want to let go and let somebody else drive. And to have a strong man who knows and who wants the best for you and your family is super important.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
That's very interesting stuff.
I agree.
That's really great.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we were talking about another thing we got to kind of hit on is that as culture has progressed, so feminism has grown, right? Like, ladies, I mean, we got our first black president, and the next thing people are saying is we want our first woman president, that kind of thing. So feminism's grown, right? But you know what? We're going to talk about feminism, how that's grown, how that can affect, a relationship going forward, you know what I'm saying? Because also with feminism, sexuality has changed also in the last few years, So how even women approach sex is way different than it used to be in our mama's day, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to talk about it in just 1 second. Before we do, check us out again on Facebook. Go on there, leave us some questions. We're going to take a break. I'm going to come back in just a few moments.